Okay, I thought I was. Let me see.
And let's get
Why
moving.
is, do you see it now?
There it is. All right.
Perfect. All right. Jamie, how are you?
Andy, doing all right. I
All
think I
right, man.
might be, instead of being snow blind, I'm red blind today.
Red blind, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
from staring at my index top list all day.
Oh, yes.
You know, started off bright red and stayed bright red all day.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Kind of an ugly day if you're a bull out there. If you're a bear, maybe you did a lot better. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to Andy's trading studio with Jamie Hodge. You guys bear with me. I seem like I'm on a different computer every time over the last month, every time I get with you guys, but I'm on a single monitor. Jamie's going to help out with the questions panel, and I will try to keep an eye on it, but I am on a single monitor today. Got some good stuff, so let's just dive in. Uh, and first, let's go over the disclaimer. Okay, guys, Jamie and I are going to be talking about some cool stuff, some different setups, and probably some particular stocks. May even say keep an eye on this every now and then, but just want to you guys to we want to let you know that it's not professional investment advice. Okay, we're just educating. This is for educational purposes only. And if you are looking for professional investment advice, you want to look for a registered stockbroker, an advisor, somebody who hangs a license. All right, but we are going to have some fun. Before we do, bear with us. I want to talk about all of our support, education, and training for the new people in here because it's a great software, but we are changing it. Seems like every week, and we've been doing that for 15 years now, and it just gets better and better. So we build on top of it, and it's turned into quite an incredible idea generation software. And so we know to some people it can be a little intimidating. So it's our job to show you just how intuitive it is, and we do that by first off the traders room. Guys, if you haven't been in there, it's free for everyone. All right, this is a place to go where you look over the shoulder. Barry shows his screen, and you can see the software on there, and he navigates the market, and there's about 500 traders in there, and they all do very well using trade ideas. So get in there if you haven't been in there yet. And guys, we do webinars Monday through Thursday, all in the 5 Eastern time slot. It's usually a combination of myself, Steve, or Jamie, who's kind of, uh, running the show. But on Wednesday, we do throw Dan Merkin and Brad Williams. That would be our CEO and our CTO, and that's a great place to go for Q&A and get a demo of things coming coming around the corner in the software, and there's some more cool stuff coming. And then on Friday support session, guys, if you didn't learn everything you should have during the week, just come in there and ask your questions. It's an open Q&A. We usually have four traders in there, myself, Jamie, Sean, and Steve, and just come in and ask questions, and we'll answer them. All right, and let's not forget TI University, guys. When you subscribe, you want to sign up for this. It's a 4-part series class, starting with Beginners 101, running 4 consecutive days, Monday through Thursday, finishes up with 401, more advanced. Today, Jamie did that, and it's about an hour of curriculum each day, and then 30 minutes worth of Q&A. So great hangout. For those that cannot make it, we also have this recorded on our YouTube channel. Just go to our playlist and look for TI University. All right, Brokerage Plus. I probably need to remove the introducing part of that header because we've been introducing it for a long time now, and this thing is up and running, and all the gears are running smoothly. What this is, guys, it's a way not only that you can automate your strategies if you want to, but now you can auto trade our Holly through the Brokerage Plus. And not only that, it's just a great interface for you to point and click using your charts to enter or exit trades, using your own risk parameters, moving your profit targets and stop losses on the fly. It's just really a cool interface, and take it from somebody like me and Jamie, who's been trading for over 20 years and used all kinds of interfaces. I have never seen anything like it. So you'll hear more about that. And if you want to learn more about it, just go to trade-ideas.com/beta. All right, agenda for today. Market recap should be interesting. Interesting day today, and we'll jump into that here in a second. Holly recap. I know Jamie has one trade to talk about today. Boy, wasn't that a good one? And
Yes, it was.
yeah, he may find some other nuggets of wisdom. I'm sure he always does. So we'll keep all ears out for that. And then I got a couple. I got a great idea that I started using this week, and I think you guys are going to love it. You know, that multi-strategy window where we use the daily symbol list. I broke a couple of them down into top list, and these are great for homework. And I'm going to share those with you. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through basically how you just kind of think of something, and you take the concept and then you start building it with trade ideas. I find that that's always better. So we'll spend some time on that, just building these, but I do have them already created. Should I stumble along the way and forget, something, I have them created, and I will share those with you as well. All right, let me back out and let's pull up the market recap. And we always kind of start with the spiders. It comprises of the most stocks, 500 stocks, weighted pretty fairly, and so this is what all the benchmark, this is the benchmark that all funds are kind of compared against. So it's always a good little instrument to pull up and to get a good kind of view of the whole market. And let's look what we had coming in today. And I mentioned in my last webinar, I think it goes back to this wick right here, that we were kind of in no man's land, but I was concerned about, a lot of the topping wicks that we had, especially on this day right here, and then followed it up with another big topping. We could not hold our gains, and that's always a little bit concerning. You see, kind of as the market is turning off the lows set back in December, you're not seeing a whole lot of those topping wicks. The market, is pretty much, for the most part, closing at the highs of the day. But now we've seen a few days where we're getting a few wicks to the upside, and that always concerns me a little bit. Now, with that said, we do have a nice little bottoming wick today. Now, that was on the close, so we're going to have to see how much weight that can hold, because there is some damage done. You can see, guys, now we are all below. Let me zoom in a little bit now. We are below our key moving averages, still above our 100, okay? So, I'm sorry, the 200. So well above that still, but, some damages has been done. And I mentioned also last week, be careful, I think, no, actually this was a couple of weeks ago in Steve's webinar, be careful watching these moving averages. We got the 10 period moving average, crashed through the 50, and now we got to be careful of this. If this 20 comes through the 50, that could kind of be like a little guiding hand to maybe want to push this market down here to this 200, moving average. The only encouraging thing I can say about today, I mean, it was ugly all day long, but and I'll show you here in the spiders. You can see that the bounce was there in the closing minutes of the day. So, but nonetheless, when you look at the daily, that is kind of, you would call that a hammer. Now, I don't know what that means, but it is sometimes encouraging, and saying the buyer stepped in. I would rather see it start earlier than closing minutes of the day, but nonetheless, we do have a nice little bottoming wick, and we'll see if the bulls can build on that, maybe go up here and test this fast line again, see if we can't get above it. Other than that, let's see what else we've done. Okay, we've filled this gap already, filled it. Let me just go ahead and make up some markups here. And crashed right through that one, and then we had a little gap down here. Let's see if we hit that. And we did, and that's exactly where we bounced today, right on this gap fill. So, I don't know. Are we going to go test this low? We could. We could. We're kind of in no man's land, obviously, right now, but yeah, we're below some moving averages here. So, we'll have to see what happens. I think if we do, obviously, if we do take out this low, there's a real good chance we're going to go down and test this 200-day moving average. To get me more bullish, I think we need to get back above these averages, which by the time we make a move, they're going to be kind of converging here, and we'll see what can happen. But, for the most part, let's look at the other averages for the most part. Qs, a little bit more damage there in the Qs. You can see they came well below this gap fill that we married up in the spiders. You can see that went much lower and actually touched these lows over here. Okay, so, but for the most part, same thing. We got another bottoming wick there. Let's check the IWM. I got a feeling that's going to be pretty ugly, and it is. You can see that actually went to the same, I think that's the same low in the Qs. I don't know, but this one, once again, we keep talking about this one has not played ball, has not got anywhere near their 52-week high, and we warned about keep an eye on this. If anything is going to lead us lower, it's going to be the IWM, and you can see this is much weaker than the other averages. And look what we have here, guys. We have a major kind of resistance level, support level, I'm saying, that we kind of bounced off today. Gosh, below that, it could get really ugly. Not a lot of support. You got little, when you have a huge move like this over a 2-month period, okay, when you come back down, crashing back down, you're not going to find a lot of support because we didn't do too much backing and filling and testing levels. So you got to be careful in a situation like this because there's really no levels of real strong support, just basically single points. So, they can go down a lot faster than they can go up. You think this was a nice move to the upside? Well, if it gets ugly and really starts to fall apart down here, it could retrace this in a few days. But we're not going to go there. We'll see what's going to happen, Jamie. That's about it for the spiders. Things are not looking all that great, but we're still, kind of, as Steve pointed out Tuesday, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Today we did not go and touch this, so we're still kind of making in the spies anyway, higher lows, but not the strength that we saw a few weeks ago, that's for sure.
You got that right, Andy.
All right, buddy. Well, do you have anything to add, or would you like to just go ahead and talk about, what was it, that AXSM? I believe it was what it was, something like that?
Yeah, why not just jump right into Holly? Holly was not the most active today, but on a day like today, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all.
All right, so you should have eyes on my screen here.
All right, I got them.
You got it? Okay, let me make one quick adjustment here. There we go. Okay, so as we can see here, looking at the 3 modules, Holly 1.0 up here, only kicking out 1 trade. Nothing to write home about. Sticking to your guns or your stop losses, or in risk off mode on reduced risk, losing 12 cents had you held it. Could have made a whopping 13 cents. So while there is a little bit of spread in there, like I said, nothing to write home about. But just looking at this trade, after we get this little range here established on the 15 minutes, we get about an hour and a half into it. It's pretty much the same old classic why Holly would pull the plug on something early, and that is typically when it's going sideways. Not heading in the direction that it's supposed to, but how many times have we seen this before, right? Just kind of meandering along right underneath the entry signal, but not quite getting down to the stop loss before finally, in the last 45 minutes, getting that little push to the upside. But hey, and then, don't blame Holly for reducing the risk because we were in the undertow pretty much all day long, as Andy's already pointed out here. So let's get on to the more active modules here. Now let's count up the trades first. We had a total of 11 trades for all three modules. Of course, most of those coming from 2.0 and Holly Grail. Holly Neo. It's just trying to save your ears from my coughing. We are in full allergy swing here in Texas. So what I'd also like to point out is something a little bit different here that I do not believe it is available to the distribution versions or the versions that we have out for consumption right now. You'll notice over here, Holly 2.0, we have full risk. We're used to seeing risk on and risk on. So we've got a new column to talk about as well, which I've added to the 2.0 blotter and the Neo blotter down here. Now first, let's take a look at the monster winner here. We can see that Neo was risk on today, 4 trades up $2.10, and the majority of that coming from, you guessed it, one trade, and what a trade it was. Let me just kind of squish this up a little bit so we can see the beauty of the daily as well. Okay, so talk about a nice peak, and we're lucky that she made it the timed exit here with this bar coming into play here. If it would have went sideways for a little bit longer, she might have went, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug. This one made it for the duration, which is why we're seeing 67 cents in risk off mode. That timed exit came up, so she does what she's programmed to do. But it wouldn't have been that far of a stretch for you, me, anybody else using this Holly signal to go, this thing's working nicely. Here's the break even line. I tell you what, I see that you're getting out, Holly, but I think there might be more in this one, and we could have stayed in break. Just a beautiful trade all the way around. I mean, this thing punched through, you know, look at how many days we covered up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost engulfed those previous 7 days with that wick down there. And then, of course, just like everything else in the market, took that little gasp or dead cat bounce up at the end, pretty much just like the SPY did here at the very end. And as Andy pointed out earlier, we did have the wick there, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But all in all, just a beautiful short trade. Good to see a beautiful short in a down market today as well. But as far as an overall bias, actually Holly was a long bias today by a trade of 1. Right, so we had 3, 4, 5 shorts, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 longs there. So just barely winning the day as far as a long bias, but this guy definitely stealing the show here. You know, I like the orderly downturn here. So let's point out some things that we can't necessarily see when we're looking at the Holly numbers here as well, which is, after we're in it right here, we're nicely profitable. Had we decided to hold it, take a little bit more risk and stay in that thing because it's working for us, we also have the added benefit of a range break occurring in this candle right here, about 12:15 Eastern time, 11:15 my time. So this would have been a great opportunity to maybe tack a little bit more onto that winning position. That's one of the rules of trading that you always hear. Hey, you need to, make sure you cut your losers and, at the appropriate times, add to your winners. This is a classic case right here. You even had one more little shot right here, but that might have been pushing our luck a little bit. You would have had to be, getting out down here. You did well. Okay, I would think that most people probably, while this bar is occurring, are thinking, well, it's already blown through 7 days of the daily. How far down could this thing have gone? My eyes would have been directed to this little area right here, but it fell just short of that, and then quickly made up some ground after that wick was put in. But just a beautiful trade all around there. Now, excuse me, let's talk about what we're seeing here in full risk on, or full risk mode as it is now called. Well, for those of you who have been with us for quite some time, you've probably seen the variations of Holly and risk on, risk off mode that we've had in the past. So basically, we modified risk on not too long ago so that when, a stop out occurs and the stock turns back up, that stop stays what we would call static. You don't get the added benefit of the stock turning and going in the proper direction anymore. So we got risk off, which is Holly just sticking to her rule set: stop loss, profit target, timed hold, reduce risk, and profit save. Then we've got risk on, which shows you, assuming a stop out does not occur, how much more that stock would have moved. Here we can see the stop hit in Rost, right? But notice what we're seeing in full risk mode. Full risk mode is like going back to the very first version of risk on. Would you agree with that, Andy? Okay. So in any case, 31 cents, full risk on mode. So what does full risk mean? It just means you're not adhering to any stop losses. Okay. So yes, Rost in these two modes got stopped out as it crashed through here, but then comes back up, meanders around, and ends up closing higher for a gross of 31 cents. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want to see the stop outs, you want to see the entire ebb and flow of all positions, then full risk profit is going to be that column that you want to watch. So now we've got risk off, risk on, and full risk, kind of covering the whole gambit there based on what individual users feel is best for their trading style. So not really a whole lot of a risk on to talk about other than AXSM. We can see that is the mode that 2.0 finished in. So, you know, the difference in regular risk on versus full risk is we didn't stop the following of the position after the stop out occurred. It continues to watch. And I think risk on today came in at like $1.80 in 2.0. Like if you take the tally of risk on, you get $1.80. But not anything to write home about as far as the difference between risk on and risk off. Would have actually made 9 cents less holding that into the close versus Holly getting out on a timed exit. So all in all today, Holly only spitting out 11 trades, and then in the market environment that we had today, can't say I'm displeased with Holly and the performance that she kicked out today. So, you know, hey, sometimes less is more, Andy.
Yes, absolutely, Jamie. And we all know how tough the gap down and just continue bleeding are to trade. And when Holly can spit out numbers like that, that's impressive. It really
Yeah,
is.
because, you know, I mean, after this big gap down here and this opening 15-minute candle, everybody's looking over here going, well, you know,
there's
we
our
might
move.
have some room down here, but that never even came into play, right?
Yeah.
So after we got down here, it was just, you know, kind of a little chop fest, you know, get it here, get it there. Longs were definitely the flavor of the day. I mean, my turbo down family no support was just lit up like a Christmas tree, and all kinds of, you know, nice clean range breaks were in play today. So, you know, if you're focusing on the downside, you know, there were a lot of stocks that had to play catch up today that were, you know, breaking down, taking their time, nice orderly declines in a lot of stocks today. You know, of course, a lot of it's happening simultaneously, but hopefully, you know, everybody was able to get in a couple that worked to the downside, because that was definitely the path of least resistance with those massive compare count readings too. I think what do we have, 79% to the downside after the first 15 minutes today, which
Yeah, it was pretty
readings
bad,
like that are unheard of, right? Usually if we creep up to say 60%, 65%, that's pretty big. But after that first 15 minutes today, after the SPY put in this opening candle, we were looking at high 70s, you know. Just problem is we just didn't have a whole lot of room to the downside. So that's my take on things, Andy. You know, anything to add with Holly that I missed?
No, other than, you know, that's a good day in this market. I just know how tough big gap downs like that and just bleed, you know, and it's not a fast bleed either, just a slow bleed all day until you get that little bounce. And you know, but no, Holly did great, especially the AXSM. That was a good one.
Not too shabby, not too shabby. Okay, my friend, let me kick it back over to
All
you.
righty. All right. Got eyes on me? I'm going to have to close out the questions panel just because it blocks a lot of my image. So keep me, if anybody asks a question, just hit me up, Jamie, that I need to talk about.
No worries. I'll keep you covered.
All right, thanks, buddy. All right, guys. So what I want to do today, and I always like to take the approach of, instead of me, up here trying to, lecture or tell you what you should do, and I like to just kind of work through it together. I think that's always a good practice. Just kind of start like I would be if I was building the alert or top list, and just kind of work through it together. I think that's the best way to learn, instead of me just pulling up something. Hey, I created this. I'm going to share it with you guys. It's a great alert. No, I want to understand the logic and the reasoning, and I want you to understand the logic and the reasoning as I'm doing it. And I want to throw this out too, because I think too many people, I know what it is, because I've experienced this as a day trader. You have all these windows that you're trying to look at, and you come into the day with what you might think is a game plan, and then all these flashing lights get to going, and you're looking at multi-strategy windows and top list and Holly, and you're like, oh, what do I do? That's why I think it's important to develop a style and a niche. I mean, don't feel like you have to be the one to catch the AXS sims to the downside. There's good trades throughout the day, but what's important is you find a niche that works for you. And I'm going to show you a method that I think a lot of people would benefit from. And I'll first of all, we'll just pull up. I've talked about this before, and it's in channel 4. You guys have access to this. It's called Bullish Daily Candlestick Patterns. All right, so I'm looking at this today, and let's just go ahead and run the history real quick. And for those of you guys, this is what we call a multi-strategy. Those people who may be new in here, it's a way for you to have more than one strategy in one window. You can see here, I got 4 strategies. These are all candlestick patterns. They're daily candlestick patterns. So I like this window, and there's some really good trades that come through this thing. And real quickly, I'm just going to kind of show you what it looks like. I'll bring up the alerts that came through today. And the ones I've been most impressed with, the ones you're going to see the most, are bottoming tail and green bar reversal. But I know how it can be. All right, market opens up, these things come spitting through here, and you're trying to look at this, and they're moving too fast, and it's like, I want people to understand that these are some really good setups that are being generated by our symbol list patterns, that our servers go out right when the market closes. Right now, they're going out and finding all these candlestick patterns for you, and you have access to those. And if you have a certain pattern, you have a lot of the homework done for you just by using our symbol list that we create. So what I wanted to do is, I'm thinking, well, gosh, why do I have to try to watch another multi-strategy window, watch another alert? I need something I can do homework with, and I can study, and then I can be prepared by setting price alerts. So I wanted to take these and turn them into a top list, okay? Now, the only thing about this, I don't think these things are going to change until early in the morning, so you're probably going to have to do your homework before the market opens in the morning, because like I say, our servers are continually going out all through the night and well into the morning finding these patterns for you. So I'm not sure exactly what time they would change, Jamie, but I got a feeling it's probably 2 hours maybe before the bell or something like that, maybe 3, but it's something that I may look into. But anyway, let's dive in and let's create a top list that will help us study. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to pop out the strategy. Okay, and what we're going to use, since these have been the best, the bottoming tail and green bar reversal, I'm going to go ahead and pop it out. Okay, open alert window. All right, there we got it. All right, let me just go ahead and minimize that for the time being. So now we have this in alert fashion, but we want to turn it into a top list. So all we have to do is right click, use the collaboration feature, collaborate, copy all. Then we're going to come over here to new and do a top list, and you can just go ahead and click OK because you're going to change it anyway. And we are going to do right click, collaborate, paste all. All right, I'm going to get rid of this little header here. Let's see here. I don't like that drop down. If I remember how to do it, Jamie, how do I get rid of that thing? Strategy menu, there you go. All right, so now we have a bottoming tail in here. All right, so let's look at the configuration. We can just get rid of this now since we started it. All right. So let's look at the configuration. Since I had some other filters in the top lists I created, they migrated over, they collaborated too. So I'm just going to go ahead and, because all I'm concerned is finding those stocks that had a bottoming tail. I don't care right now if they're in the previous range because I'm not caring. This is not an alert, okay? This is just, I don't care if what the volume is. I'm going to use this for homework. So we are going to do this right here, and we're going to click OK. All right, there we have it. So these are all the stocks that had a bottoming tail from last night. So these are the stocks that we're seeing on my screen that came in today with a bottoming tail. Okay, let's take a look, and I'm going to expand the SPY chart here so you guys can get a better view here. Let me zoom in a little bit as well. All right, so let's take a look at snaps. There you go. There was your bottoming tail yesterday. Now remember today's market. So huge gap down. So a lot of these didn't work. Okay, but I'm going to show you a little trick of what I would use to, get an idea of even when the market opens of how you can follow these. Okay, but there's your bottoming tail. Right now, all I want to see is that it's performing. I'm seeing bottoming tails from yesterday, and you can see it as I go through all these. There's bottoming tail from yesterday. Didn't work. Huge gap down. That's okay. It never would have triggered. I never would have played something like this, but it's still finding me opportunity. All right. So now I'm thinking, okay, great. I got all these stocks that had a bottoming tail that I can go through and mark up with price alerts. Okay. This one was a beauty today. AVA. Look at that. Even in this ugly market, look at this beautiful pattern from yesterday. Drove down, finished with almost a hammer in closing right above the moving average. And then look at this morning when the market gapped down. And imagine if you could have your eye on this. Okay, even if you don't like short selling, you're looking for you're a long player and you're looking for opportunity. Look at this beautiful open up and then bust through, took out yesterday's high and never looked back. Just a beautiful chart. Well, you're saying, well, great, Andy, but how do I know, to trade that one? Well, this is what you do. You see this when you're doing your homework in the morning, okay? You're not going to have a whole lot of symbols in here. You can go through them really quick and see the ones you like, okay? And if you see something like this that put in a beautiful green candle yesterday with a nice long bottoming tail, you just come in and you right click and you set an alert right here, okay? And you're going to be alerted in real time, okay? Now, what I would do in a situation like this is let's create some columns. So let's say it's an ugly market, okay? And you set all these price alerts this morning, and the market just opened up and continued going down. None of your price alerts are going off. How can I track these stocks to see if any of them may be gravitating toward that price alert? All right. So here's what I would do. Let's create some columns. The power of columns, guys. Do not discount these. They're very powerful. I don't really care about 5-minute volume. I'm mostly interested in the pattern. Volume today doesn't mean anything to me, but let's find a couple of things that position in previous day's range. That would be a nice one. Maybe position in your range so you can see how much has been beaten up. Position in today's range, that would be a good one. That would be called position in range. We're going to show column. And let's go back to columns, change from close. We want to see change from close. And I don't see it in there. That's okay. We can add it. This is the exact thing I'm doing last night when I was building this. Change from close percentage, show column. Okay, okay. Let's position these properly here. All right. So let's say, you know, you mark some stuff up this morning. You're thinking, oh, maybe the market gaps down and it shoots up really high, you know. Nothing happens, okay? None of your price alerts are going off. So maybe you want to track these, okay? So what I would do is put it, you could put it position in range to see which ones are trading up near highs, okay? That one's an 80, look at that, it's an ETF. You may want, you can take out the ETFs. You don't have to have those. But here's what I was thinking, because when I was looking at this, I'll show you an example probably here pretty soon. Let's see here, a lot of ETRs. Snaps was kind of ugly. Golly, that's ugly. Trying to find one that well, there's a lot in here. I'm probably going to take out the ETFs. But what I would rather use is probably the position in previous day's range. All right, and this is why I'm going to show you this. Okay, so let's put it on 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, nothing's happened. You haven't had any alerts go off. Let's put it on 9 o'clock in the morning and use historical date. And we're just going to go back and put it on 9 o'clock a.m. this morning. All right, I got to get rid of these ETFs are bugging me. Bear with me.
Get in there and slap that earnings per share filter in there.
I'm telling you, I'm just seeing way too many of those. Let's see, 0.01 and a negative 0.01. See, this is exactly the stuff I go through when I'm building these things. All right, there's a filter in here that should not be in here. And I can see right now, I'm gonna have to go in and pick and get my, this is what it symbol is, bottoming tail, no? Okay, Jamie, why, tell me where I'm missing this. Tell me where that AVA is.
Go ahead and sort by symbol real quick. Just get it up there.
Yep.
Okay, AVA, there it was.
There it is, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 9 o'clock this morning, I don't know where it was in my thing. So let me see if I can find it when I'm doing position in previous day's range. There it is. Gosh, why can I see that? All right. So guys, if you're sitting here looking at this, even if your alerts don't go up, well, snaps would have went off right at the opening. Let me pull this over here too as well so we can see both. All right. RVNC. Okay, that was one that really never happened today. Remember the market that we had, guys. I can promise you this. You don't have too many days like today when the market gaps down as much as it did. And then you're going to find some really good trades. I'm going to show you here a few in a minute, the ones that have come through this week that are just been beautiful. But nonetheless, there was still some that kind of worked a bit. This is actually setting up for something you may want to keep an eye on in the future. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put one right there. But AVA this morning. So if you're scrolling through these ones that are close, not too far from yesterday's range, all right, this one right here at 9 o'clock this morning. Of course, as this refreshed every 30 seconds, you would have seen this gravitating to the top until it was eventually, probably right at the top as it's getting ready to go through highs. Now, that alert that I created will also work to pick up these, but guys, what I wanted to show you this is I found that a lot of times you won't look at the alerts, okay? But if you do your homework and you set the price alerts, then it pops up at you and shows you, hey, I'm at that level that you're interested in, and it flashes on your screen. I promise you're going to catch it a lot more better like that than you are trying to look at alert when you have 5 or 6 alerts, running, and your focus may be, somewhere else. It's really nice to have a price alert, flag, jump up at you. Now, the problem with this, I'd love to go back and show you in history, like go back to Monday or Tuesday and show you some of the great trades came through, but because of these symbol lists, because we're using a daily symbol list that's created for today, even if I do try to go back in history, it's going to use the symbol list for today. So it's kind of quirky. It won't go back and find the symbol list the servers generated on that day. That's why you can't backtest when you do have an A window using symbol list, because it doesn't work that way. It's going to use whatever symbol list is in there for today. So it's kind of quirky. But I do want to bring these up because I do remember a couple of them. One I actually participated in would have been 3M. It was a beautiful pattern. Now, ugly today. Remember, it was a market, but yesterday, look at that nice little bottoming tail yesterday after a big sell-off, opened up the next morning and just popped right through. This would have been yesterday, so let me just zoom back on the 15-minute chart, and you can see what I'm talking about. Opened up, tried to gash down, pop back up. Look at that nice little trade there. Another one on the same day. No, this would have been the day before, was Yeti. Another one you might want to keep an eye out for tomorrow, and because it was actually up again today. Maybe I'm going to mark up this one as well. I'm constantly marking up stocks when I see one. If you see a good chart, mark it up, even if it's not on your symbol list. But look at this beauty going back 2 days ago. Let's zoom out and take a look at the move Yeti had after this beautiful little doji right here, and it did come up on the bottoming tail one that I'm showing to you here. Look at that beautiful move. Opened up, gapped up, and just pretty much all day long. Okay? When you see patterns like this, guys, you are going to, like I said, you're just going to come in here and you're going to say, oh, that looks good. I'm going to put a price alert right there. And then you're going to just set it and forget it and wait for it to go off. Another beautiful one on this day. Now, China, trade wars, you can't look at what happened today. Okay, I'm referring to kind of day trades right now. But big sell off, look at that little spinning top right there. You set it, it came on the bottoming tail, you set it and you forget it, and beautiful. I'm not going to go back. Well, I might as well go back and look at how C-Trip traded that morning after it broke that pattern. Just a beautiful up. Even if you miss it in the first 15 minutes, you're being patient. Look at this sideways action. Jamie, I know you love that, and a nice little range break. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let me show you guys the ones I'm going to share with you because they're much better than the ones I just generated. I wanted to show you kind of what I'm thinking when I'm building these things, but I do have them saved in here. And let me pull up the bottoming tails T window and the bottoming tails green bar reversal.
Hey, and Andy, we did have a question roll in here.
Sure.
The question is, are you setting the alert just above the high of the bottoming tail candle?
Correct, I am. Mm-hmm. And I actually a lot of times will set it just below the high to get a jump, because I know sometimes these things when they do, trust me, a lot of algos are jumping on them, and a lot of short sellers covering their position. But But look at the, yeah, so yes, that's a good point. That's where but I'm setting them right around that range. Now, unfortunately, I wish these things would, could act real quick, but you have to, there's tons of stocks our servers are going looking at, and they're trying to find all these different patterns. So it does take well into the night to find them. But tomorrow morning, when you pull this up, the ones I'm going to share with you, you'll have a fresh new group to take a look at. Okay. And then you just go through and take a look at some of these things, just like I showed you on this snaps. That was a pretty one, but got away. ABA was just gorgeous on the green bar reversal and the bottoming tail, kind of a double confirmation pattern there. This one even worked. I'm not sure why that's. I guess they refer to that as a green bar after 3 consecutive days, and a little. It's a small green bar, but it still worked. There's one. Here's your 3 consecutive days. Nice green bar reversal. May want to watch that one for a continued move. Coke, nice green bar reversal there. Look at there, Jamie. This thing is close to all-time highs, or maybe, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, I was noticing that one trending up a few days ago.
All right, guys. So I am going to share these, and you guys can wake up tomorrow and take a look at these and set your price alerts. Because once again, guys, I can promise you, if you set those price alerts, okay, they're going to get your attention when they fire off. Unlike just looking at an alert. Alerts are great if you're only focusing on 1 or 2, but let's face it, you're looking at Holly, you're looking at, you may be looking at 4 or 5 different windows, which I wish people wouldn't do that, but I know, especially the ones that are just getting the software, they're trying to find out what's going to work for them, and I understand it. But if you have something very simple, maybe it's just a simple niche like this, where you're doing your homework and you're marking these up, looking for the good patterns. All it takes one good trade, to make a really good day. So let me share these with you, and I'm going to drop them into the chat window. First, I'll do bottoming tails. T for top list. Go to my cloud and make sure I get the most recent one, because I've been working on this. Copy all. There you go. And for you guys who are new, what we do in here, we have the ability to share these windows with our subscribers, so they can click on that cloud link and have instant access to this T window. All right, the other one was green bar reversal. And let me share this as well. And you can go in there, guys, and change the configurations. Maybe I got this set for stocks that only do 300,000 share of minimum. You can make that 500 if you want. Yeah, And I'm not sure. I don't think I took out the ETFs in these. So if you want to go in there, you saw what I did. You just pull up that EPS feature and you put 0.01 in the minimum, negative 0.01 in the max. But I'll take a look real quick. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Add that filter. Nah, they're pretty basic. No, I do have it in there. Good. Sweet. All right. Jamie, any more comments? Any other questions out there?
We're all caught up on questions.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, we're getting about that time anyway. Got 5 minutes left. That's plenty of time for Scott to say goodbye. Before he does, guys, hang on. He's gonna give you a discount code for a sale. So Scott, if you want to come back in, we can walk him out of here.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. On the way out, let me remind everyone we have a great ebook that both Andy and Jamie contributed chapters to, so make sure you get a copy, trade-ideas.com/ebook. It's free. Just put in your email address to get that download link delivered to your email. It's got 5 chapters, each one with a way to win in a post-BTFD market. Check it out. There's a podcast. We'll have a new one out tomorrow. I believe we're actually releasing one with a guest interview, so that should be interesting. Make sure you subscribe by searching for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and add us. We have a code. Holly May is good until the end of the month, so you've got a few days left to use it. HOLLYMAY, all caps, saves 15% off the first month or year of any Trade Ideas subscription or Brokerage Plus. Or if you're a standard subscriber and you wish to upgrade to premium, just use that in the upgrade path and save the same percentage on your first month or year of your upgrade. You can follow Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. Steve Gomez is at Today Trader. We also have at Trade Ideas. Facebook.com/Trade Ideas Pro is our Facebook handle. You can follow us, like us there, and check out what we post. Share it with your friends. Info@trade-ideas.com is the best email address to send any of your questions. We're going to have this recording up later on tonight or tomorrow, so stay tuned for an email tomorrow with a link to the playlist where you can find it. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks.